In a previous video I talked about Forza Motorsport graphics in general, where I emphasize in car models and the possible cause of their looks, why the game is inconsistent and looks so bad a lot of the time. Links in the description if you want to check it out. But this video is different. We will take a look to a few cars that are from the newest models in the Forza franchise, in order to be able to settle expectations for the upcoming updates where they bring new cars. Forza has been recycling models for a while. I did mention in the previous video that they have improved a little bit older car models. They really didn't at all. They just grabbed the basal model before lowering the polygons in order to optimize for the older consoles and games, and grabbed the full poly car for the new game, just imported. Or they just did something as simple as clicking a button to smooth the mesh polygons in the 3 software. But are there improvements in some of the older cars? Yes, there are. This Mazda RX-7 Spirit R speaks for itself. Even though it looks pretty much the same from the outside, they meticulously modeled the engine bay. Like many other car models, even the older ones in this game have gotten this gesture. Some models for the sake of the ForzaVista of older Forzas, others for this new title. You barely look at this as you play. You are racing not in the garage or main menu all the time, but it's a nice detail that I appreciate. It makes the franchise unique and interesting in a certain way, even if it's something not so necessary and visible all the time. I like the gesture. In fact, I did try to make a full list where you can open the hood of the car and appreciate the modeled engine, and the list is this long. And that's not even a third. Kind of ironic how they can model this with such detail, but they used a first Xbox model Mitsubishi for a teaser on Twitter that looks terrible, not even for the marketing there. By the way, you can't open the hood of most older modeled cars, just exceptions like this. I thought about one more reason why Forza Horizon models are not as well detailed as Motorsports, because in Forza Horizon you need to model the textures and optimize for an open world game, and many cars in this game are imported from Horizons. And which textures do they need to work on besides of the car paint? Textures where they are dirty with dirt, sand, snow, and more. Everything I'm saying is not excuse to bring bad and outdated car models, by the way. There are just reasons of why it is what it is. In my previous video I did mention that in the very older models they had to also model the car damage models. Now let's take a look to the Mascot Models, the 23 Cadillac V-Series and the 24 Chevrolet Corvette, both fresh brand new models for this game. As we can see, the headlights are very well detailed. You can zoom in and you don't see anything that is low resolution. The paint material looks beautiful. The wheels and brakes are very well modeled and textured. The interior is great. You can even read the emission control text on the engine. The engine is well modeled. The polygons are rather smooth. Overall, this car is very beautifully modeled, but it makes sense because it's one of the game's mascots, just like the Cadillac. As well, very well modeled. It is beautifully detailed, smooth, and well textured. They compete to Gran Turismo premium models, but maybe Gran Turismo is a step ahead in car detail, even compared to the Forza's mascots, but at least they are comparable. These are examples of upcoming car models. Wait, actually maybe not. These cars are for the sake of the marketing. Therefore, to achieve a fair conclusion in regards of what to expect for upcoming updates and car models, let's check the new Golf R model. As we can see, it is very well detailed. Maybe not as good as the mascots, but it gets very close. Now this is next generation modeling quality, material usage, and texturing. More should look like this. Not Gran Turismo tier, but Gran Turismo takes months to model cars and they are just the best in that regard. That's a fact at this point. But I don't really ask for super modeled cars for a racing game. If that consumes too much time and their strategy is to bring other stuff other than car models, I respect that if they actually did something instead of building 6 years from the ground up to deliver this, of course. If furtherly added cars come with the quality or similar to this Volkswagen, I'm quite happy with it. I can even tolerate slightly lower quality like the Forza Motorsport 4 models, not all, but many models from the older games. They still hold up today, not great but not terrible, that's okay, acceptable. In fact, for many cars in this game, the issue of why they look so bad doesn't stem from the polygons themselves, but the materials and textures that are poorly implemented instead. and outdated even. A good example of this is the classic MX-5. Like many other textures in this game, I think the tarmac is also exaggerated. They zoom in and upscale the texture so you can clearly see the detail, despite of it being an unrealistic size. It doesn't fool many of us, quite a smart move for older generation consoles and graphics. Xbox 360 era, but at this point, it is ridiculous. And one more of the newest models of the franchise is the 23 Lotus Emira, which is roughly at the level of the Volkswagen we just saw and has an overall good level of detail. It is good for a next-gen AAA racing game. The newer Forza models, as we have seen in this video, are very well detailed. Not super detailed like Gran Turismo, but very well detailed. If the upcoming cars, if they don't recycle RAMs, speaking of newer cars, come with this quality at least, or similar, I think we are good. They are pleasing to the eye. Yeah, there are issues with the graphics engine, the paint, the materials in many cars, but if the new ones come with this fixed, we are good. But there's bad news. It depends on your opinion, but at least personally, I don't like the new cars. Speaking from the car industry in the 2020s, I don't like the design of the new cars at all. Some cars like the Lotus are beautifully designed, but most of the cars these years are ugly, so the best modelers and laser scanning won't save the ugly car designs of nowadays, but it is what it is. Let me know in the comments which car models would you like to intend to remodel, which is very unlikely, and which car models you think are very well made in this game, despite of the overall mess this game is. And see you in the next video.